two-way. And here's Anthony Volpe.
Line drive, it's a base hit left field. IKF is going to third. Refsnyder slips. They're sending him home. The throw is not in time. He got in. Well, the Red Sox are challenging.
Initially, it looked like they got him.
The call on the plate is overturned. The runner is out. New York is challenging the block at the plate after the overturn.
So now they're going to take another look to see if he was blocking the plate.
Call on the field is confirmed. It's out. It's now blocking on the plate. New York should lose their challenge.
A little bit of confusion on this one. It is now time for Call After the Call. It is powered by Zoom, and thank goodness we are joined by Dale Scott, former crew chief for a very long time, 33 years as a Major League Baseball umpire. Dale, thanks so much, because I want to further look into this a little bit. Seemed to be a lot of confusion on that play. Both clubs decided to challenge it. Take us through the first one where Anthony Volpe appeared to score. He was called safe, and then he was overturned. Why?
Well, you have to understand at the Replay Operations Center, the Rock, they have the broadcast of not only the Yankee broadcast, but also the Red Sox broadcast. If there's a national broadcast, they would have that. They also have access to all the stationary cameras that are at every major league ballpark. So this play in particular, they were watching, there was nothing there definitive until they finally looked at the overhead high home camera and also the mid-high home camera, where they could see that the runner did not get to the plate before the tag. And let me explain this. Sometimes, let's say you're watching the Yankee broadcast and the definitive angle is actually on the Red Sox broadcast that you would not see when you're sitting in New York. So you're trying to figure out, why was this changed? I don't see anything that shows otherwise. Well, it's because you didn't see it. It was on a different broadcast. What the Rock does is they take everything, look at it, and when they find a definitive angle, they will take it. They will make the call overturned or confirmed, and then they will clip that definitive angle and send it to in this case, let's say the Yankees broadcast. And it's up to them if they want to show it. And it usually takes maybe a half an inning to get that done. Now, what happens at the Rock is sometimes you have an angle where you can clearly see the tag, but you can't tell where the foot is in relation to the plate. There's another angle where you can't really see the tag, but you can see exactly where the foot is in relation to the plate. So what they do is they'll do what we call a mosaic. They'll take both those views, put them up. The cameras are all synced, and then that way they can see right when the tag was applied where the foot was on this other angle, and that's how they come up with, either clear and convincing to overturn or to confirm. And in this case, they did find those angles that the foot was not at the plate when he was tagged. Of course, once that happened, the Yankees said, wait a minute, okay, you just called my runner out now. I want to challenge that the collision rule at home plate was violated. So again, they have to go back. Obviously, the Yankees are not going to challenge that originally because their runner was safe. But once it was overturned, now they have the option to say, hey, listen, we think there's a violation. They looked at that again. The catcher, Wong, he set up correctly for this play, and then he moved with the trajectory of the ball and the hop of the ball. So there was no violation of the collision rule. And so that was confirmed because there was no violation called on the field. So that was confirmed by the Rock that there was no violation.
Unless the catcher is in possession of the ball, the catcher cannot block the pathway of the runner as he is attempting to score. Okay, Dale Scott.
Unless the throw takes him into the runner, if he sets up correctly, right, and then the throw takes him, then he can do that.
Okay, in your experience, this Buster Posey rule, this collision rule at home plate, is there more of a subjective rule, any other rule that gives you more headaches or scratching your head moments than this one?
It's a little confusing. I remember I was working when this rule was implemented, and it had to be fine-tuned a little bit because we weren't exactly sure what they wanted us to do. We were told, and I'm sure they still are, although I'm not privy to the meetings anymore, but we were told the on-field umpire, your first priority is to call the play, the out safe and that. And a lot of times the collision rule part of it, we will kick up to replay because if you concentrate on the collision rule, you may miss the actual play. And that's what you want to be out there for. So, yeah, it can be confusing, but it's nice to have the Rock in your back pocket to help you out.
Yes, and it's nice to have you on the show to explain it further to us. Okay, before we let you go, on Friday night, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it was a savvy play. He purposely let a pop-up fall instead of catching it, and they ended up being able to get that 3-4-6 double play. Now, there was a runner on first with one out in the seventh when the play occurred. He tossed the ball to second baseman Whit Merrifield, who was covering first, who then threw it to the shortstop, who tagged out the runner to end the inning. However, it wasn't called an infield fly rule. Tell me more.
No, there's no infield fly, but there's only a runner at first. Infield fly is less than 2 outs, runners at first and second, or the base is loaded. Rule 509C12 is you cannot intentionally drop a line drive or a fly ball when there are runners in a forced position, meaning first and third, first and second, or bases loaded. Now, first and second and bases loaded, less than 2 outs, that's an infield fly. The batter would be out anyway. But there was a runner at first only, less than 2 outs. There's no rule that says you can let a fly ball or a pop-up drop without intentionally dropping it. There's a big difference, and that was just a smart play on his part. He let it drop. Now the runners are in jeopardy. The batter runner didn't sprint down to first, so he was at jeopardy, and they turned a double play. That's a total legal play. And the only time that you would have an infield fly, you need more runners. Just a runner at first base, you're not going to have that.
Yeah, really savvy play. Didn't need to be reviewable. It was just a way to get them off the field. Heads up play by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Dale Scott, we always appreciate the additional insight. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, call after the call presented by Zoom.